Every month in India, a lot of IPOs come to the market. But how do you decide which IPO is the perfect fit for you? Well, there is a hundreds of pages of long document called Draft Red Herring Prospectus, which you can go through. I have spent a lot many hours on this document to summarize this video and highlight all the important parameters that will help you make an informed decision. Now, before moving ahead, I would request you to like this video, comment on this video, as well as subscribe to my channel. We will start with the business overview. There are two things for MobiKwik. One is the customers and another is the merchants. For customer, they offer products like recharge and bill payments, which include credit card bills, electricity and water bill. Secondly, customers can use MobiKwik to pay at the various e-commerce vendors, retail outlets and fuel pumps. They can also use MobiKwik app to check their daily transactions and bank balances, as well as making any sort of transaction through UPI. MobiKwik also offer personal loan products like MobiKwik Zip and Zip EMI. MobiKwik Zip is basically a 30-day free credit line, whereas Zip EMI is for a period of around 3 to 24 months. Further, they offer products to make any sorts of investments in mutual funds or any other gold investments, etc. Now, how do they acquire customers? They use 4 channels for this. One is the search engine optimization. Second is user referrals through millions of users that are already there on the platform. Third would be the digital marketing and social media marketing activities. And fourth would be the brand recall whenever customers go to different merchant outlets and uses the POS terminal of MobiKwik or any other service of MobiKwik. It is important for you to know that MobiKwik has a customer acquisition cost of Rs 31, which is lowest among its competitors. MobiKwik targets a market which is underserved and unserved market of middle India, which is around 600 to 700 million of population, out of which only 120 to 130 million people are credit active. If you look at this chart of reds here, you can see that MobiKwik serves a large number of population where 160 to 170 million is part of underserved and around 400 million is part of unserved population of India. Now coming to the second part, which is the merchants, for whom they offer products like online checkout page for the e-commerce stores, scan and pay using the QR at different offline stores. Third is the POS terminals. Fourth will be the QR enabled payment announcement device. Fifth, they also offer a credit product to provide cash advances to the merchants. Now, in order to acquire merchants, they have an on-ground sales team that go to different merchant stores and acquire them to come to the MobiKwik platform. Now, this table is very important for you to understand. You can see that the platform spend GMV is around 26,000 crore, whereas the digital credit product GMV is around 5,000 crore, which will involve products like MobiKwik Zip and Zip EMI. If you look at the registered users, they have a registered user base of around 140 million. Further, the new registered user is around 16 million, which they acquired in 2023. The second part of the video is about the industry overview. For this, you need to look at this chart. You can look at the Indian household transaction mode of payment chart, where you can see that UPI is going to grow from 17% in 2023 to around 37% share in 2028. If you just talk about the non-cash transaction, the UPI has increased from a 8% share in 2018 to already 73% share in 2023. This second chart shows you the volume of digital transactions, which is going to increase from 114 billion in 2023 to around 450 to 500 billion by 2028. And the value of digital transactions is going to increase from $26 trillion to around $60 to $70 trillion by 2028. This shows that the Indian market is growing rapidly when it comes to digital transactions. Now look at this third chart. It is about the Indian digital payments merchant funnel. You can see that the digitally enabled merchants have grown at a CAGR of 9%, and the merchant using QR for payments has grown at a CAGR of 10%, which shows that the adoption of using these digital payment solutions is increasing among merchants as well. Now, when I compare a country like India with that of US or UK, we can see that the credit served population that has around 2+ years of credit history is just 22% in India, compared to 83% in US and 34% in UK. So there is huge scope of growth for the Indian population to reach to that level of US and UK. Now let's talk about the retail loan disbursals. You can see this chart to see that it will grow at a CAGR of 15 to 20% to reach around $1,400 to $1,600 billion from 620 to 660 billion dollars by 2028. Now let's talk about the third section of this video, which is the competition. You can see that Paytm has the highest wallet share in terms of GMV, and it is followed by MobiKwik. However, although MobiKwik is far behind Paytm, still it is much ahead of its next competitor, which is the PhonePe. This second chart shows you the user base of different platforms, where you can see that MobiKwik is fourth in the list with around 140 million users in fiscal year 23. This is a very important table for you to focus on. You can see the revenues of different players. MobiKwik is far behind Paytm and PhonePe. But when you look at the capital efficiency ratio, you can see that MobiKwik has the second highest ratio, which ideally means that the funds that are raised by MobiKwik has been used efficiently. MobiKwik has an EBITDA margin of minus 10%, which is only below Fino Payments Bank. Now coming to the fourth section of this video, which is objects of the issue. MobiKwik plans to raise around 700 crores from the public. It is very important for you to understand how they're going to use the 700 crores. First is to funding growth in financial services and payment services business, and around 250 crores and 135 crore respectively is to be used. The financial services business would include the businesses like MobiKwik Zip and Zip EMI, wherein they need money to disburse loans to the different customers. The payment services business would include pre-funding escrow accounts plus all the activities which is done for merchant and customer acquisition. Second is they want to strengthen their platform by building technological capabilities including AI and ML, and around 135 crore is to be used for that. Third is basically using capital for buying payment devices business, which includes the POS machines and sound boxes. Around 70 crore is to be used for that. And finally, they want to use the remaining money for general corporate purposes. Now the last section of this video is the risk factors. Every business is going to show you the good side, but it is very important for you to understand the risk associated with the business as an investor specifically. The first risk factor is unable to attract new customers and merchants that will directly impact growth, or if relationship doesn't grow with the existing customers and merchants. Second, they are present in the fintech industry where there is intense competition. For every product, there are so many different other players offering the same solution. Third would be failure to maintain relationship with their lending partners. Fourth is the cost of credit could increase, which will basically increase the cost of digital credit and alternate investment product for the customers. Fifth, whenever we talk about credit, there is always a financial risk associated with distribution of credit. Sixth would be risk with respect to failure to comply with laws and regulations or any other sudden inspection by the Reserve Bank of India. Seventh, traffic is majorly driven through the e-commerce players, search engines or other partner apps, so there is always a risk of not getting any sort of favorable placements. Lastly, they have a heavy reliance on banks, card issuers and payment processors, so any changes could affect their income. To sum up this entire video, MobiKwik IPO as per me is a good option for you, but again, just deep dive into every parameter before taking the final call. I hope you had some good takeaways from this video. I'll keep making such informative videos. Hope to see you in the next video.